Guys, I don't know if you're familiar with this channel, but I recently came across it, Your MMA Dose, and I have been binging their content. Fantastic work over there. They talk about kind of like video essays, diving deep into fighters. And today I wanted to react to one of the videos because I was going to sit back and I really enjoy their content, taking a look at like kind of a retrospect through fighters' careers. They just made a video over about Paige Vanzant, and today I wanted to react to it and kind of show off the content for the little platform that I do have. And hopefully can ship anybody over to the MMA Dose because, man, the content is absolutely fantastic, and we're going to react to the story and many careers of Paige Vanzant in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's watch this video together, the many careers of Paige Vanzant. And by the way, links for Your MMA Dose will be in the description, pinned comment down below.
I've never been one to listen to authority, and especially people telling me I can't do something.
Sorry. It's just starting off strong, eh, Paige?
I'm gonna do what I want.
Everybody's dream girl.
I knew how athletic I was. I'm not someone who is meant to be in the background. I'm meant to be the star.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I guess it didn't go that well, eh?
There is no wiping that smile off the face of Paige Vanzant.
Yeah, man, when she first came onto the scene, she had so much potential. I mean, like, she was kind of living up to the potential of, like, the star that she could be, but it's so disappointing to see where her career went and what she did with herself.
Just vicious inside the clinch. Really good grappling by Paige Vanzant.
Yeah, and, like, this is what I was talking about, like, just the production about how this channel does things. And I've been, like, I haven't watched nearly all of their videos, but I've been binging the content. It's so good, man.
That's really been the theme for the success of Paige Vanzant.
It's honestly so weird because I haven't seen it in a long time too. Seeing Paige Vanzant young like this, like, it's crazy the difference.
For a 21-year-old kid, she has got a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
This is her sport, I'll tell you that.
Fantastic. Your MMA Dose, guys. It's such a good channel. It's becoming one of my favorites already.
Following the enormous success of Ronda Rousey, the UFC added a women's 115-pound division. The cast from the 20th season of The Ultimate Fighter would be exclusively from that weight class.
Wow, and you see a couple names there. You see Angela Hill. I haven't watched The Ultimate Fighter, and I forgot that a lot of these girls were on The Ultimate Fighter. Crazy that Carla Esparza, man. She ended up getting the dub over there, but yeah, it's crazy, like, looking back and seeing all these names. Felice Herrig.
The winner of that
hang on, wait. Sorry to rewind.
Season of The Ultimate Fighter would be exclusively from that weight class.
I don't know who this is, but is she staring at Felice Herrig like, what are you doing? Like, what are you posing like that for? Pose normally. Come on, what's she doing? You have the person in the middle like that staring at the camera like, what did I do? Scary.
The winner of that show would be crowned the first UFC strawweight champion. Due to there being alcohol in the home of the reality show, no contestants under 21 were allowed to compete. Enter 20-year-old Paige Vanzant. Not trying to flex, but I've seen her naked. Paige.
This guy, you know what's funny is I actually haven't. But that's because I am an overly, very respectable man when it comes to being faithful to my wife. It's just, I'm uncomfortable even, like, conversation for another time.
She started her MMA career right out of high school.
That's what I love about these high school girls. I get older, they stay the same age.
Oof.
Yes,
Oof.
Her professional record was 3-1 when she joined the UFC. Vanzant trained with Team Alpha Male and even dated our favorite little dunderhead, Cody Garbrandt.
Bro, you're talking right now.
Could you imagine, like, that relationship? With Paige, I'll do what I want. And Cody Garbrandt, yeah, that's what's up.
UFC debut, Paige fought then 3-0 Clen. Both visibly inexperienced, but Vanzant's aggression with her clinch work and takedowns overwhelmed Clen throughout the fight, which led to Paige finishing her by TKO in the 3rd round.
Yeah, it's funny looking back at these divisions when they were in their infancy because you have girls like Ronda Rousey who seemed way more dominant than she actually was, and looking back, it's like, oh my god, how could we not see how actually one-dimensional she is? And Paige Vanzant, she had the warrior spirit, she had the aggression, but not exactly a ton of technique behind what she did.
In 2015, UFC partnered with Reebok to make their bland fight kit uniforms. But before this atrocity came into effect, a select number of fighters would get an individual sponsorship deal.
Man, like, that's so nostalgic just looking at that. Like, you see Rory McDonald behind my face cam, like, oh my god. Actually, can I move it a little bit? I can move it a little bit, okay? So you can see Rory McDonald, Alexander Gustafsson, Conor McGregor, Anthony Pettis, Habib, Kane, Is that Vanzant? Yeah, that's Vanzant. And who is that? Is that the name's escaping me at the moment? The dude in the PFL, Mercier. And who's behind him? That's not Yair. No, that's not Yair Rodriguez. That's not Gamrot. I don't know. Regardless, it's crazy how big Showtime was back in the day too.
From Reebok. These names would include John Jones, Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, and Paige Vanzant. Apparently, winning just one fight in the UFC warrants a sponsorship.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Vanzant kind of did take over the MMA community. I remember, like, I think that she started fighting around when I was in high school age, and I was like, I was really, really like, I liked Paige Vanzant, man. She was a cute girl with a fun personality. She got in there and she really, really dogged it out. So I was like a Paige Vanzant from the beginning, but unfortunately, of course, not anymore. I don't like what she made of herself.
What else could have persuaded them to deliver such an arousing endorsement? Was Paige showing signs of being a prodigy? Or was there something else intriguing about her? Carla Esparza, the champion in Paige's division, didn't even get sponsored.
Sorry, it's just like the difference there.
About her. Carla Esparza, the champion in Paige's division, didn't even get sponsored. In response to this, Carla said that she's constantly being overlooked. Trust me, they looked. One glance at her shaped head and they said, "We're good. Let's sign a girl whose vibrator doesn't go limp."
Whoa! Okay. Okay. All right. Whew.
That happened.
Some of you are probably wondering, who's this man that's transitioning to female, but evidently...
All right. Just hey, YouTube, I'm very, very grateful to be on your platform. That is not funny at all. That is not funny, YouTube. That is not funny. I'm grateful to be here. I would never condone anything like that.
Actually, Paige's next opponent, Felice Herrig. Don't tell me you don't see a resemblance. Good old Mickey Rourke from Sin City had a 10-5 record, but was ranked in the top 10. This
is disgusting. This is disgusting. Okay?
Gatekeeper was the appropriate next step for Vanzant. Felice is as unlikable as she is misshapen. When she isn't one of MMA's mean girls, she desperately tries to convince male fans into believing she's one of the hot girls of the sport.
He's just dogging on Felice Herrig. I mean, like, understandable kind of.
Constantly wearing skimpy outfits to overcompensate for that masculine body and Robert Zadar jaw. Maybe
did she end up doing OF? I actually don't know. That's kind of ringing a bell. She might have.
She fooled a few incels, but the rest of us can see the low self-esteem four that grew up with a Herman Munster face.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I remember people actually like posting about Felice Herrig, and like Felice Herrig would post like something on Instagram, and people would be under the comments like, "Oh my God, Queen!" Like that. To go back to Chael Sonnen, that happened. It's like, dude, how addicted to lust could you possibly be?
Spending 12 hours in front of a mirror won't turn a Pontiac Fiero into a Ferrari.
Dude, this guy has not stopped dogging on Herrig. Here, hang on, there we go. Is that better? There we go. You're welcome.
21 years old, who would have thought she'd be on the main card on Fox after one fight in the UFC? What do you make of all of that she's in this position against you?
I think that it'll be a good learning experience and eye-opener for her. I think that it's going to go away real quick.
Not because of you.
She even got a Reebok deal as well.
I actually really don't
L1, he just instigating too.
believe she's getting pushed. I think that she just happens to have the same manager as Anthony Pettis, who is sponsored by Reebok. What manager wouldn't do that? Hey, I have this other client. Can can we work with her too? I
don't understand these people, to be honest with you. Like, why not just like be honest about it? Yeah, you know what? She's a very, very hot and young girl. Why would the UFC not want to promote her? Like, I don't understand what the big deal about that is. It's understandable to be like upset about it because you're somebody like actively working on becoming the best UFC fighter you could possibly be and promoting yourself through that avenue. But like, sex sells, man. Like, what do you want me to do? If I was in charge of the UFC, I'd do the same thing. Paige, you're right at the top. Let's go, my champion.
It comes down to management, honestly.
That's an interesting theory, Miss Man. But this wasn't a case of who you know. You didn't see any other star hook up a fighter that has one fight in the UFC. It's pretty obvious why Reebok sponsored Paige. She was young and attractive. As ignorant as they were, they clearly had high hopes for her future despite the obvious lack of talent. Yet Felice wouldn't acknowledge that Paige got sponsored because she's good looking.
I don't think, if I was familiar with this, I mean, you know what makes sense, to be honest with you? I didn't care to watch anything about Felice Herrig.
If she did, then it would have been an admission that Reebok didn't think Felice was attractive because she didn't get sponsored like Paige did, which goes against Felice's pretty girl persona that she oversells.
What is this?
When it comes April 18th, I think that Reebok might be like, oh, what did we do?
No, Reebok's absolutely sitting there, and they were definitely always sitting there like, yep, we made the right choice. That is the athlete. That is the athlete we want wearing our gear.
We're good. We're good.
Some of you may think I'm being a bit harsh on Felice, but have you ever paid attention to her? She deserves every ounce of this beating. Be honest. If she offered to buy you a drink, most of you would say,
Go f yourself.
Are you impressed with her at all?
I'm not. Paige Vanzant is not going to show me anything that I have not seen before.
To be fair, Felice is never impressed until she glances at a mirror that refuses to shatter.
Guy, is this even okay to like react to? I love how subtle it is, and I love how subtle it is, and he's just like, oh yeah, so the mirror's gonna break. Like, it's just like still in like documentary tone. Like, this channel's great, man.
Sergeant Slaughter every minute of the fight. Maybe now she's impressed. The UFC then decided to pad Paige's record by matching her up against an unranked Alex Chambers.
I forgot about that girl.
Defeat Alex via armbar in the 3rd round. With 3 UFC wins under her belt, next up for Paige would be Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
Rose was in a similar position to Paige not too long before.
Dude, I remember like the build up for this fight, and I was like legitimately interested in it. And I did not think we were going to see the beatdown that we actually saw.
Another young and attractive female fighter that showed promise. The UFC seemed to be on Rose's hype train until she fought for the title and lost.
Dude, could you imagine if, like, I know I'm not like making any groundbreaking statement over here, but could you just imagine if Rose kept her hair? She'd be one of the biggest MMA stars of all time. Insane.
It's almost as if they had already written her off and shifted their focus to Paige, especially after Rose boycotted the beauty contest by buzzing her dome. For my money, I thought Rose with hair was prettier than Paige.
I disagree, but she definitely gives her a run for her money. But like Rose, the problem is Rose has a really pretty face, and you know.
I know some will say that she has the body of a 10-year-old Lithuanian boy, as if most strawweights don't. But how else was she supposed to attract Pat Barry?
Oh man, we're going in hard for this video, eh?
No chance.
Oh, really, dude?
Thug Rose dominated Paige everywhere the fight went and submitted her in the 5th round.
Like domination doesn't do that fight justice.
This pleased many fans and other fighters who were happy to see Paige's hype get derailed.
I got outclassed in every way. So just get back with my team and game plan and work on my technique.
And I remember watching his press conference too, and this is the charm that Paige used to have. Like, I was cheering for Paige when she first burst onto the scene because she was humble in this sense. She was excited to be like into the UFC. She was a fighter and she was in it. Like, she's one of those athletes that I'm speaking about Paige, of course, like when she first came to the UFC. At least from an outside perspective, she could have been putting on an act because, again, of the way that we see Paige Vanzant now. She seemed one of those fighters that really, really, really was in it for the martial arts, really wanted to become champion. And she also just happened to be attractive. That's why she got the push. And I felt actually really bad because, like, that was a really humble thing that she just said. And she apparently put in the work, but it's a little tough. And she was just like, you could tell that she was really, really hurt by her loss. But at the end of the day, humble. Like, I liked Paige back in the day, man.
So just get back with my team and game plan and work on my technique.
After Rose showed her the next level, Vanzant decided to take a break from fighting to do Dancing with the Stars. The show gave Paige even more notoriety as she did exceptionally well, coming in 2nd place that season. For her octagon return, Paige would face Beck Rollins, no relation to Donnell. For this fight, Vanzant completely changed her style from a scrappy pressure fighter to using lateral movement and lunging in with crafty kicks. By the end of the round, things weren't going her way, but then she remembered what her old sensei taught her.
you know what's funny is it's a nice like trip in time that this channel takes me, because I remember like, all right, Paige is back. She just got absolutely outclassed completely. How's she gonna come back? I miss Goldberg, man. And she was so happy too. Like, it was nice to see.
How good was that?
No,
After being back in the win column, Paige would quickly lose her next fight against the karate hottie Michelle Watterson.
And that didn't exactly age well either, eh?
Then moved up to flyweight, where she'd take another L against Jessica Rose Clark in a fight where she broke her arm. Paige showed toughness fighting through injury, but people were questioning her dedication to the sport.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, the dedication to training and stuff, because she was doing so much outside of the UFC at that time, or outside of just training in general, but it just goes to show, like, I remember her fighting with that broken arm, man. Like, she was really, really, really tough. Like, the heart, she had a warrior spirit, Paige.
Wondering if fame got to her head, or if she simply was never that good to begin with.
Both.
If that wasn't bad enough, Reebok even dumped her. The UFC matched her up in what was pretty much a gimmick fight against Rachel Ostovich, a fighter who was also known for her looks, but had a career record of 4-4.
Dude, that was one of the best times to be a UFC fan, watching this community get hyped up for Paige Vanzant versus Rachel Ostovich. The memes, the comments, they were just so funny. Like, you could have an interview of like, hey Paige, or hey Rachel, are you excited for this fight? How was your trip? How was the flight down here? And then all of the comments would just be hilarious. Like, I miss this era of the UFC sometimes.
Just one win in the UFC. Most fans would have preferred this match to be in mud wrestling or some sort of jello pit. Despite the absence of lubricant, they successfully managed to entice fans, but not the way it really mattered.
I still remember everybody still being really, really happy with this fight, which was funny.
For all of Rachel's best efforts, Vanzant would submit her in the second round. An emotional Paige started to cry after her win, assuming that another loss could have meant the end of her UFC career. Fans wouldn't see Paige in the octagon for the rest of 2019, but they did get to see her in Sports Illustrated.
Oh yeah, and this is when the big shift started, eh?
That is a tit. That is a tit. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right, baby.
Yeah, that's and this is the beginning of the downfall for 12 gauge Paige. Wait, didn't she change her nickname? Am I wrong in saying that? I think she did change her nickname.
She got a great ass.
Who? All right, Paige. All right, I don't want to look at that, man.
She's the throat goat, if you know what I mean.
Wait, who's Colby talking about that clip?
Doing SI made Paige start to embrace what every male fan wanted from her all along. For her, the tides would soon change. For the final fight on her UFC contract, Paige would face Amanda Ribas at UFC 251.
Oh my god, I forgot about that fight. That was another one that had some great comment sections.
Into the fight, Vanzant made the fatal mistake that many fighters do when they're on their way out of the UFC. She did an interview with Ariel Helwani where he baited her to speak up about fighter pay. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yep, I remember that.
Endorsements, I make way more money sitting at home posting pictures on Instagram than I do fighting.
Like, okay, think about that for a second. Shocker! Shocker! Really, somebody with millions and millions of followers, of really, really hungry and just dying for any, like, to use it, to put the term nicely, addicted to lust. You think, like, it's not shocking to me at all, and that she's making more money doing that than in the UFC. It makes sense, but I remember it was ridiculous. Everybody was talking about fighter pay. Everybody was saying how evil Dana White was, how evil the UFC was. Like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Oh, good for you.
When I did my contract negotiation, the talk was, I can't pay you more than a female champion. Okay, but why are you comparing me to just women? All of us should be paid more in general.
I wonder if Ariel was thinking that.
Especially the women, and especially based on your star power. Knowing it's my last fight, I do want to go out with like a statement. I want to come off of 2 wins. I want to really show what I'm worth. I have so much longer, and I'm only, 25 years old. I have a really long MMA career left.
Yeah, that worked out, didn't it?
I really want to prove what I'm worth and what my value is. I do think one more fight is what it's going to take.
And this is what I'm talking about. It's sad to see. Like, look what she did with her worth and her value, man. Like, she made a living for herself, and that's as respectable as it could possibly get. But the avenue of doing so, you just sacrificed every little bit of self-respect that you had. Like, again, I liked Paige Vanzant when she came onto the scene.
She ain't lying.
I feel like coming off of Dancing with the Stars, with the fan base I've been able to build up, I've just been extremely accomplished outside of the UFC as well as in the UFC. And I see these other stars that cross over from other organizations. Take CM Punk, Greg Hardy, him coming over from football, all these other stars and what the UFC values them at. And
well, yeah, like exactly what this said here. Hang on.
Coming over.
Both CM Punk and Greg Hardy made their names in other sports. That's entirely true. Out of all the people you could bring up, Paige, eh?
From football, all these other stars and what the UFC values them at. And I do want to show the UFC, like, I'm so much more than just a star outside of fighting. Like, I'm a star in the UFC as well.
Doing a season of Dancing with the Stars and appearing in Sports Illustrated once doesn't make her a star outside of fighting.
I don't know. Like, obviously not like a Connor star like we're showing right here, but she was a star.
These were one-time opportunities made available to her because she was affiliated with the UFC.
Like, I am
oh,
really
okay. I see the point. My mistake. My apologies. Let me retract that.
No, you're not.
I need to like put in perspective all the things that I have done. You know, I've had 5 wins in the UFC, 4 finishes.
Those are rookie.
Okay. But what about your first fight? Like, exactly. After your first fight, you got the Reebok deal. Like, the UFC, you should be thanking every single person that promoted you. You should be thanking Dana White. You should be thanking about whoever was in charge about promoting you, Paige Vanzant, because they're completely responsible for it. All you had to do was sit there and smile.
Numbers.
Just an awesome record. I've been the main event twice.
At the time, her UFC record was 5-3 and would later become 5-4. What's awesome about her record? Plus, who gives a shit about headlining 2 Fight Night main events? Neil Magny has headlined 3 of those.
No, I do not like the Neil Magny slander. I love Neil Magny. We love Neil Magny.
I think someone with those accolades should be paid more.
Yes. Well done.
Ariel. I've been waiting for you to say that. That's right, Dana White. Guys, don't we hate Dana White? Don't we hate Dana White? Don't we hate? Come on. The UFC needs more fighter pay. Come on.
Well done. Paige did indeed show her worth by losing to Amanda Ribas in the first round.
Paige Vanzant made it clear she wants to test free agency after this. She lost this evening.
When you talk all that stuff, I'm not being paid enough, and fighting inconsistently one time in the last year, injuries, and then got smoked in the first round of the fight, she should definitely test free agency.
Ooh. I forgot about that. This is what I love about this channel, man. It's like taking a nice trip in time, because I remember that. That was like, the simps were, or the SIMPS were angry with that one, let me tell you.
We can agree that fighters are underpaid, but it's also difficult to argue that you deserve a raise when you're 1-3 in the last 4 years. Being popular on social media doesn't equate to winning fights nor selling pay-per-views. If you're as successful as Conor McGregor, then you can rest on your laurels, but Paige can't because she has 0 accolades in the sport.
I think that she definitely, like, she's built herself a little bit more than nothing. Like, she's built herself more than a lot of fighters did back then. So I think that's important to say. I think we're dogging on her just a little bit too much.
Her fight against Ribas would be her last fight in the UFC and her last MMA fight to date. After Vanzant's departure from the UFC, there was speculation amongst the combat sports community as to where she'd end up. Once it was announced that Paige had signed with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, many were baffled by her choice.
You remember everybody like, oh my god, Paige's face. She's ruining like the only good thing about it.
Vanzant wasn't a good boxer, and for someone who makes money with her looks, the idea of choosing Bare Knuckle seemed foolish.
That's what I'm saying. Like, seriously. And I mean, obviously, like, I didn't say anything groundbreaking here, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Did it ever come out how much money she made from that? Because then that might change my tune.
Paige's choice was later made clear after she stated that she'd earned 10 times what she did in the UFC.
Oh, well, there you go.
In the wake of recruiting Vanzant, the president of BKFC held a meeting for his staff.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get laid.
Okay.
After securing her first bare knuckle win, Britton Hart called out Vanzant.
Oh, yeah.
Next. Paige Vanzant coming in the ring right now.
I forgot about all that. All that kind of went viral within the UFC community, eh?
Paige, would you like to have a talk?
Love to fight you. That sounds like an easy win for me, so thank you.
Wow.
Even on my very worst day, I would still beat this person. I've always been known as a striker.
Dude, I don't understand how fighters can say that. Like, you could tell that it just wasn't an act what Paige was saying there. You could just tell that she was being completely honest with herself. It's like, come on, man.
Vanzant's debut showed that she wasn't as good as she thought, losing 4 rounds to 1 against Hart. Vanzant was now at a crossroads in her fighting career. The more reality set in, the more she started to embrace what actually made her popular. Around the time she signed with BKFC, she also created an OnlyFans account.
Yeah,
to
there
no
we
one's
go.
surprise, she found immediate success.
I like logged in and it had only been live for like an hour, and I was seeing the subscribers go up, and I think I had like 52,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at the smile on her face there.
At one point, and I was like, oh my word, our lives just changed forever.
Yeah, you think?
She naked.
Now, you don't have to be a simp and pay for this. You just have to know where to look.
That's what I'm like. That's what I've never understood about it. Like, the only thing that that's not true. I understand it because of like the state of your average man, but at the same time, like, why not just look it up? Like, do these people actually believe that they have a chance of like messaging Paige Vanzant? Or if I don't even know that she has one of those things where it's like you can message and then like her boyfriend would respond or something. If you guys know what I'm getting at, like, I'm trying to think how somebody could justify just purchasing Paige Vanzant's OF. I don't know.
I have some work to do inside.
Okay. Is this actually stuff that was on there? Is he just like showing you completely like, guy, I don't want to watch guys doing this, man.
You know how cute I always thought you were.
Guy.
I'm coming.
Oh, man. This one is like I've been watching the content, but this one's teetering the line, man.
In spite of Paige's recent financial achievements, she still had desires to be a competitor. Desperately seeking a win for Paige, the BKFC brought in the last opponent she defeated. Rachel Ostovich made her bare-knuckle debut, but she wasn't the cakewalk they were hoping for. When the fight was over, it was pretty obvious that Rachel had won. However, a frustrated Vanzant stormed off like a child.
Oh yeah, I saw that highlight. I never watched the fight, but I remember her, like, that clip of her going away and like being a bad sportsman or having bad sportsmanship went around.
Their favorite toy. Paige even addressed her critics by attempting to convince them how happy she was. Like,
and guess what? I'm still smiling. My story is full of setbacks, roadblocks, and detours, but it is also filled with major comebacks, peace of my soul, and a grace that saved my life. I promise you this, I would endure this pain every day of my life over the pain and regret. I'm going to keep chasing my dream one step at a time. 99% of the people on earth would not dare to do what I do. This story will be even better than my fist. And if you haven't read my book before, click the link in my bio. That is real pain. That's just a bad chapter. And to anyone out here struggling, pain is only for a moment. The world may be dark and love to hate on you, but darkness does not drive out the darkness. Only light can do that. So do not stop shining. All right. I know what is mentioned in that book, and that is definitely too touchy for YouTube, and I'm going to skip a little bit if the channel gets to speaking about that.
They didn't just witness her having a temper tantrum. Oh well, at least she's got her OnlyFans.
I've never seen so much wool. You could knit a sweater. This has got to be the biggest beaver shoot in the history of Florida.
Holy. Is that, like, this has to be stuff that's actually on her OF, is it? Is that okay to post?
Other than her brief stint in AEW, Paige took a 3-year hiatus from professional fighting until a new opportunity presented itself, which rejuvenated her competitive spirit. That so-called opportunity would entail Vanzant joining the circus to face influencer-turned-boxer Elle Brooke. Paige...
Oh my god. I don't think I've ever seen that fight. I remember this news. Did Paige Vanzant ever fight? Did this thing get canceled?
was determined to snap her losing streak and figured the inexperienced Brooke would be the rebound she needed.
I remember this girl. I remember this girl and something to do with Paige, but I don't remember the fight. I must have not watched it. Well, I mean, like, I typically wouldn't watch these things anyways. Maybe I just saw the highlights and forgot about it.
If I was in a bare knuckle fight, I would do a lot more damage than what she has. Like, her opponents didn't look bad. Paige didn't do a lot of damage on her opponents at all. I don't think she's necessarily a puncher. She might be strong, but she's not known for knocking them out. I would have knocked them out.
Paige, what are you envisioning?
I think
Ariel
it will be
again.
a very exciting fight, and I definitely know it is not going to the judges.
Wrong. Not only did their fight go to the judges, but they decided it was a split draw.
Yeah. I did see that result. I definitely didn't watch that fight. No, thank you. To be honest with you, I'm not even a boxing guy personally. I enjoy participating in boxing. I don't enjoy watching boxing. I mean, it's okay, But definitely not influencer boxing. Not my thing.
I really thought that I did enough at the end. My whole team thought we did enough. I think a lot of people did. The judging, a little bit nuts.
What are your thoughts on
Paige? I've been a subscriber forever. I've been OnlyFans since day one. I thought you won that fight 100%. Yeah, Paige, you didn't lose that fight. I was cheering for you every second of the way, and I cheered for every single punch that you landed. Paige Vanzant, you're my GOAT.
how that match went with El Brook?
You know, it went to a controversial draw. I just had a controversial draw in boxing.
Regardless of how much Paige claims it was a controversial decision, it wasn't.
Dude. I don't know if it's proper to say something about the way that she is aging. There's a saying that you ever hear the phrase that I'm not singling out anybody like Paige. I'm not singling out any sort of gender whatsoever. Okay? I'm not doing that. That is not the case, okay? At all. You ever hear the old saying that people, not anybody in particular, people who sin age like milk? I'll leave it at that.
The fight was a pretty clear draw, with Elle scoring a 10-8 round when she dropped Paige. Well, time to spice up that OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, I remember that going around like Paige is done. It's over for Paige. Is this dude straight up just taking clips from her OF? Because, I mean, to be honest, I'm not actively looking, so I truthfully don't know. This could be on her Instagram. Who's this dude?
Just when you thought things couldn't get worse for Paige, she announces her next competition.
I just signed a contract, and whether motherfuckers like it or not.
What? I don't remember. Why am I? Maybe I've been like just off the Paige Vanzant train, but I don't. Oh, Power Slap! Oh!
I am doing Power Slap. I was in the UFC, bare knuckle boxing. Now I'm doing Power Slap.
Paige.
Yeah, awesome, Paige. Open hand palm strikes to the face. Let's mess up that face again.
Paige Vanzant. What will she fail next?
Whatever the I want. Everybody watches Power Slap. They've taken over.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
Paige will give you 12 extra grand if you say that.
Slap.
To the surprise of many, Paige ended up winning her Power Slap debut.
Yay! Paige ended up getting a win. Yay for Paige. Yay for Paige. Is that her first win since Beck Rawlings?
You see, there's a rule where you're not allowed to flinch before impact. Paige would do this every single time her opponent slapped her,
I
but
forgot
only
about
got
that.
called out for the foul once. Oh well, good thing it's not a real sport. Paige seems like a nice enough person, but her lack of self-awareness appears to be the source of the hate she gets. Whether it's bragging about her financial accomplishments while conveniently ignoring her losing record.
Have you fallen off, Paige?
You know what? My bank account.
Did Ariel just straight up ask her that? This guy. Oh, like, man, Ariel is a huge instigator, man, and not necessarily like the most kind person, but his instigating just makes me laugh sometimes.
Doesn't think so.
We're attempting to portray this savant with entrepreneurial skills as if her success wasn't predicated on her looks.
Yeah, I know. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, and she actually believes what's coming out of her mouth.
It's going from being an employee to being the boss of my own company.
Pretending she's a self-made entity like being in the UFC wasn't the reason why people knew her.
Yep.
I don't need an organization's name to back me, and I don't need.
It's crazy to me how people aren't thankful for the opportunity that's been given to them. If I was in her spot, all I'd be doing is, hey, UFC, everyone who's working there, Dana White, thank you for everything. But no, they just have to be on their high horse. Crazy.
Need an organization to build me. I'm the show. When I show up, I'm the main event.
Pushing the false narrative that she's this strong, independent woman.
I am a woman who does whatever the I want. I do what the promotions tell me to do.
Exaggerating her value.
I am so much more than just a star outside of fighting. Like, I'm a star in the UFC as well.
Having an overblown ego.
It would be a reward for her to fight me, and she doesn't deserve it.
I mean, let's be real though. She is a little bit of a bigger star when it comes to WMMA talent. A little bit bigger, but again, what's the reason for that stardom?
Refusing to be humble.
I do very well at everything I do.
Then
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's why I was saying earlier that I liked Paige Vanzant when she first came out of the scene, because she was humble. She used to be. When she was 21, when she burst onto the scene, when she came in like all happy, excited for the opportunity, right? She was different.
Reality smacks her in the face.
Or, I mean, at least she put on a good face, I'll say that.
Instead of accepting it, she'll do things like nonchalantly mentioning how ridiculous a fairly accurate scorecard was.
Judging a little bit nuts. You know, it went to a controversial draw. I just had a draw and controversial draw.
Or creating an illusion of fake positivity by smiling and flipping off her so-called haters. Like,
yeah, like, look at that. Look at it. Powerful. Powerful. An inspiration, I say.
She has a one-up on them, as if their legitimate criticisms haven't gotten to her. She even had the nerve to complain about gender pay gaps when her entire...
Yep. We're skipping past that one. YouTube, that is not okay to talk about, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this person.
It does okay numbers, but it's pretty obvious that Paige's fans don't care about her husband. It does...
That's a pretty good numbers. Holy.
Okay numbers, but it's pretty obvious that Paige's fans don't care about her husband. Still, she continuously brings him along for interviews that don't involve him, making him...
I didn't know that.
sit there like a bump on a log, revealing the charisma of a toll booth operator.
Everyone's seeing my wife naked except for me right now.
Nonetheless, even with a restraining order and his extraordinary immunity to pepper spray, he still managed to snag his sugar mama. In the end, Paige was never going to be the world champion that the UFC wanted her to be. Yet, thanks to sites like OnlyFans, she's made more money than most of these female champs do.
Yeah, I started OnlyFans, and all of a sudden, you know what? I'm taken care of. My house is paid off. Everything. I have no debt.
Her fighting career fell off worse than season 4 of The Boys, but as long as you're making money doing OnlyFans, then screw your dignity.
Yeah, that's how the world goes, unfortunately.
Seriously, do it while you can, because just like in the fight game, creating not safe for work content has an expiration date. Paige
Again, it's already kind of starting.
Fans would rather watch her undress than fight anyway, which she's seemingly aware of since she gradually spices up her content.
Does she? Has she actually ever like gone the full way on camera? If anybody knows, actually, comment below. I'm kind of curious.
Nowadays, she loves to spread eagle more than she loves neck tattoos. Perhaps this meme will soon become a reality.
No.
I don't need an organ.
Guys, honestly, though, Your MMA Dose is a channel that I literally just found, and I've been watching their videos, and I'm sure at some point we're going to be reacting to more of their videos, but I don't want to, like, be that guy who just... And there are reaction channels that, like, react to, like, the content of everybody. I just want to do this, like, here and there. Maybe if I'm not doing much and I just see a new video from them, I would like to sit here and react to it. So, guys, links will be in the pinned comment description down below. The channel's fantastic. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys are interested, we have 2 more reaction videos for you to check out. One from Cage Side Convos, one from MMA Joey. You can check out either of those videos. We talk... It has some interesting conversations over there. I'd love to have you guys over there. Take care, everybody.